Grinch Purse Acrylic Painting Tutorial by HotPinkZebraPaper.
Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to be showing you a Grinch purse. So if you remember, I did Grinch shoes earlier this year, right in the beginning of December. So I thought I'd kind of end off the season with a Grinch purse, you know, kind of cycle it back through. Like I said in my Grinch video, my Grinch shoes video, I love the Grinch. I have lots of Grinch things, so Grinch accessories definitely are something that I would be willing to collect. And I figure I would probably be willing to spend quite a bit of money on a Grinch purse, whereas it's so much easier to just get a purse that's on clearance or something and then make it Grinch myself. So that is what I'm doing. It goes with the shoes very, very well. Red base, Grinch, white fluffy fur stuff trim on the edges. So it goes with the shoes perfectly. I love this. I think it is awesome. I hope you guys like it too, and I'll put a link to the shoes video in the description box below if you missed that one. And don't forget to click subscribe to see all my future videos as well.
So here's the purse, and like I said, I got it on clearance. It's kind of one of those things where you just found it and I'm like, hey, you know what? I could put the Grinch on that. So the kind of paint that I'm using is multi-surface paint, and I'm going to begin with just like the shoes. I'm just going to start out with a white block shape for the Grinch's head, and then unlike the shoes, I didn't do his whole body. I just did his head and then his neck and then the tops of his shoulders. I wanted it to be a little bit bigger and a little bit easier to see from a distance, so that as you're out and about, people can easily see your little Grinch purse. And so, yeah, very easy. The multi-surface paint I'm using is the kind that is dishwasher safe. It's the kind that you can use it's the kind that basically is a little bit invincible after 28 days. So it does take 28 days for it to air cure. Otherwise, you can if you're painting like a bowl, you can put that in the oven for, I think it's like 30 minutes at a low temp, just to kind of oven set it and to cure it. But since you can't put a purse in the oven, you have to kind of be careful with it for 28 days. After that, though, it's pretty much unkillable. So that's the kind of paint you need to use, especially if your purse has a slippery or a leathery type feel on it. If it's canvas, it doesn't really matter at all. So then after your white has dried, then I'm going to be applying a layer of green. Multi-surface paint takes longer than other acrylic paint to dry, so you may have to wait 20 minutes, half an hour between coats. That's the only time-consuming part of this design or this purse, this little project. Otherwise, I think it took me about 35 minutes of actual painting time and feather gluing time, but the dry time is where it kind of added a little bit in there. So I actually did two of these at once. I did one for myself and one for my mom. So I would do one step on mine and one step on hers and one step on mine, just kind of go back and forth that way. After your green paint has dried, at least mostly, then I'm going to go through and I'm going to be doing all of the outlines on here. This is the part that you kind of need to make sure that you do it a little bit methodically and you take your time with. The first two steps you can just kind of whip through and just do them quick. But this one is where you start adding all of the final touches on it. So I began and I did all the outlining on the tuft of hair that comes out of the top of his head. And then I'll go down and I'll outline the sides of his face, down his neck, and then over on his shoulder tufts. And when you do the outlines on his face, like the outside outlines, don't do a smooth line. Do little dashed lines to create a little furry texture on there. So you don't want it to look smooth by any means. He's very furry, he's kind of fluffy, so you kind of got to give him just a whole bunch of little dashed lines for the outline. And then you're going to need to start outlining his face. So I added 2 dots in the center of his face for the center of where his eyes go, just as kind of like little reference dots. And then I'm going to finish the outlines with the rest of his eyes. And as you can see, they weren't quite perfect. I'm not that particular. I think, yeah, they're good enough. They're not perfectly symmetrical. That's all right. And then add his little eyelashes, the little like aggravation lines under his eyes, add his nose, add his smile lines, add his evil, evil smile, because, you know, he's planning on stealing Christmas. Add the little polka dots for the whiskers that are coming out of his cheeks. And then add his eyebrows. His eyebrows, I think before his eyebrows, I think he always looks funny. Or just kind of weird whenever I'm painting the Grinch. Once he gets his eyebrows, it's like, oh yeah, here we go. Now we have the Grinch. That's just me probably, but I love adding his eyebrows because I think it's one of the key factors that makes him so Grinchy. And then with really tiny little dashed lines, kind of like doing cross hatching, but you're going to keep them all going in the fur direction. You're going to want to add lines going around mostly one side of him to create a shadow. So just kind of go down the one side of his face and then go under his chin some. Add a few on the other side of his face just to add a little bit more dimension, but try to keep him light on the other side. And then add a whole bunch of them underneath the tufts of fur on his neck because they kind of create a shadow on his chest. So just add what you can. You know, depending on how big your Grinch is, you might have more chest showing or whatever. So just kind of alter that how it goes. And then I'm going to be filling in his eyes with yellow and then adding his pupils with black. And his pupils aren't a solid oval. They're kind of like a deep U shape. So that's You could always paint them as an oval and then add another little bit of yellow in there to create that U, but it's easier for me just to add the U. So on my purse, I've got this perfect little spot where you can lift up at the bottom of the zipper and glue the end of your feathers down, and then I'm just going to glue it along the edge of the zipper. Now I've got that black stripe that's on there that's kind of like the trim. I'm gluing it right to the other side of the trim. That way it's far enough away from the zipper that it's not going to get caught in the zipper too bad. I'm not going to lie, it does get caught in the zipper a little bit, but after like twice, the places where it gets caught, the zipper kind of pulls out those feathers and then it's fine. And you can't tell. I mean, it's so fluffy, you can't tell that there's a few feathers missing and you're fine. But yeah, just thought I'd mention that, and then glue the other end down on the other side, and that is all set. This purse is awesome. I love it so much. My mother has been telling me how many comments she's been getting when she's been out shopping, and yeah, we both love them. They're just so cute. So I hope you guys like this video too, and please check out my Facebook and Instagram for more art. I'll put a link to the shoe video in the description box below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!